Reyes-Castro, and I'm a student in Public Health 660. The purpose of today's interview is to discuss a public health problem that affects correctional setting and to understand how leadership and management principles can guide interprofessional collaboration. Today I'm speaking with Gualberto, a psychiatric social worker here at our jail. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
Just to introduce the topic a little bit, one of the case studies we examined in class involved crisis management and failures in emergency response. In correctional environments, mental health crises are a major public health concern, and often the response requires coordination across different disciplines. In jail settings, we often see individuals experiencing severe mental health crises, sometimes without timely intervention. From your perspective as a PSW or psychiatric social worker, what do you see as the biggest public health problem related to mental health crisis in correctional facilities?
So to be honest with you, in a correctional setting, I've been in this setting for about a couple of years now. In all honesty, what I have noticed, it is a multifaceted approach that needs to be taken. But just to get to the base level of things, or the issue that I see that occurs more often than not, is a staffing shortage. I see based on staffing shortages when I'm interviewing or talking with inmate clients, a lot of the times I ask, how long has it been from the period of time that you've been seen by a psychiatrist, as it goes on weeks on end.
Thank you. My next question is, as a case manager, I often advocate for services and help request care on behalf of clients. You bring a behavioral health lens, and I bring a public health and case management perspective. How do you think our two roles can integrate their strengths to improve outcomes during a mental health crisis? And we kind of touched a little on it, but now talking about someone that's a case manager, and in my role, I think I would be a supportive piece to your role, and vice versa.
I think the key when it comes to this is what we're looking at. If we're looking at it with a case management perspective, what I like to think about is what is it that we can readily see. And what we can readily see from my perspective would be the case management part, that which is tangible.
Okay.
The behavioral part sometimes is that which is not tangible. It's more the mental. It's more of the, sometimes our inmate clients kind of get lost in themselves or kind of don't want to share as much. They're minimizing their mental health concerns because of fear or because they're thinking that they might not be able to get out in due time, or they might be held back a little bit longer. So I think it goes hand in hand when it comes to what is it that you're able to readily see, what is it that they need immediate in terms of service provision, and what is it something that's tangible that they can grasp onto.
Say that it would be helpful for me to come in as a case manager and address maybe the emergency plans or the immediate needs, and then once the client feels kind of safe, then they'll open up with the next person, which would be your piece, and you would take care of that mental health part. The next question is, leadership and management principles such as communication, collaboration, accountability are essential in emergencies. In your experience, what leadership challenges arise when responding to mental health crisis in a jail? And what opportunities do you see for improving coordination among staff, which we kind of touched on again a little bit?
I think the key is communication across all different roles. MCWs, caseworkers, nursing, psychiatry. Depending on the role that you have, I think the key is just active communication. What I mean by active communication is being honest, open.
So like accountability and transparency.
Yeah.
Got it.
Keys, yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Now, what are some opportunities for public health professionals and PSWs to collaborate more effectively, especially when addressing issues like suicide risk, medication needs, or behavioral health assessments?
I mean, we can never go wrong with cross-cultural, cross-trainings, have staff kind of take on different roles, multiple perspectives, kind of have a different perspective of what the different roles do in the jail type of setting, and how those roles can lend themselves to making you a better worker, better staff members.
I like that actually, and I agree with you, because I feel that for a long time we were segregated, so I think it created like division and conflict amongst us. But I think as we kind of came together and revamped the program, we were able to see other perspectives and kind of understand what our part does or our piece of the puzzle. Well, Alberto, thank you so much for sharing those insights. I'd like to take a moment to reflect on what I learned from this interview and from my experiences with my small learning groups that I did. So speaking with a psychiatric social worker highlights how essential interprofessional collaboration is in correctional health. Hearing the behavioral health perspective reinforces that crises cannot be managed by one discipline alone. Corrections, medical, mental health, and case management all plays a role. And this aligns with what I learned in my CLC project. Effective teamwork requires emotional intelligence, clear communication, and a willingness to understand the viewpoints of others. In my CLC group, I learned a lot about my own leadership style, and I tend to take initiative and act quickly. But this experience taught me to slow down, listen intentionally, and create a space for others' contributions. Working in the jail, I already operate as part of an interprofessional team, but hearing another discipline's perspective increases my confidence as a future leader. I now see more clearly how servant leadership principles such as prioritizing the needs of clients, promoting the growth of others, and supporting collaboration can be applied when forming cross-cultural and cross-disciplinary teams. After this interview, I feel more prepared to lead with emotional intelligence and to collaborate effectively with professionals from different fields. Thank you again, Alberto, for taking the time to share your insights. I look forward to applying these lessons in my practicum and future public health work. Thank you.